When speaking with the non-believers have their own little religious things, just like the religious person does. For instance, they have certain phrases, God of the gaps, things like that they use, and they use them, again, like the religions use, as a proof of something. This has been established. We applied a certain phrase that goes with it, and once they can fit something you say in under that label, then they don't have to really address it, just say boom. And like I say, the religionist does the same thing. We say things like, I shouldn't say we because I'm not a religionist, but we'll say things, well, that's just easy believism. Label it, then discard it. And a common one that's a response to me these days because of the approach I'm using is, oh, that's just an appeal to intuition. And I looked and found out that the appeal to intuition has been destroyed, so to speak, by this method. It has been labeled by philosophers long ago who went through a series of mental exercises in logic to, quote, prove, unquote, certain truths about reality. And so one of them is that an appeal to intuition is by its nature false, that it cannot be true, because when it fits under this heading of an appeal to intuition, it is by nature false. It has to be false. And the thing that's amazing to me is that we all understand what intuition is. So if we all understand what intuition is, then it must be a real thing. I'm not saying that proves it's legitimate, because we all have emotions, and just because you have an emotion, it doesn't mean it's an indicator of truth. But the thing is how do they come to that conclusion? They come to that conclusion because certain thinkers, Aristotle and Plato and Socrates and all these people, have come up with certain beliefs that they like, and it appeals to them. And I was thinking, well, how is that different than these religionists who, Constantine and Augustine and Byzantine and Byzantine and whatever they come up with, and they love these things, and they make their own points according to what so-and-so said. So it becomes these principles based on what so-and-so said, but we put a nice little label on it. It's easy believism. It's an appeal to intuition. It's some logical fallacy. But how do you even know that? How does everyone know what we're talking about? That's the thing I want to get at. As physical beings, as purely bound by the makeup of our chemical components. That's what we are. And, evolutionary processes. But evolution doesn't cause there to be a spirit. A spirit is either there or it's not. So if we are just evolutionarily developed little balls of matter, and how is it that we all share certain understandings? Only we share. Other animals, other life forms do not understand or know these things. They don't even think about them. They don't care about them. But yet the human mind cares greatly about these things. And even the one that denies their significance or denies their reality puts great importance on them for the purposes of denying them, for the purposes of saying, no, that is wrong because Socrates said, and he proved, and he wrote, and they give you the whole spiel about how this proves it's wrong, while in fact illustrating the reality that there is something there. There is something more than what Socrates or a modern day scientist or philosopher or anyone could draw out on a chalkboard. There's something there. Otherwise, we wouldn't all know what the other one is talking about. It is something more. There is an intuition, and the intuition is real. And when it gets affected by emotions, it can be distorted. But when it's truly tapped into the one, the spirit who informs, the spirit who creates, the spirit who gives, the spirit who takes, then we can see more clearly that thing we all share. Yeah, we all share it, and we all distort it with our own emotions and our own beliefs and our own whatever it is. And insert thought process here. And even within the non-believing realm, there's different schools of thought on this belief system or that belief system. Some go for earth worship or witchcraft or this type of theism, atheism, or that type of agnosticism. There's all different levels. So it's not just one or the other. It's not just one believes in God. But if there is a God, there's only one God, and there's only one way of believing in him, the right way. And that is something I want to get at, that we intuitively know deep down inside us. We know this. We do know this. Otherwise, there would not be such a fight against it. What are we fighting against? Whenever I bring that up, why are you so mad? If what I believe in is no more significant than if I believed in the Easter Bunny or Hercules or Thor or whatever, why are you so deeply offended by this? You wouldn't be offended if I believed in Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or Thor, and they come up with some answer like, well, theocracy, you're trying to control my life. We know that's ridiculous. Unless you live in an Islamic state, there's no threat of you being controlled by religionists. And that's the point I want to make, is that I am not in line with the religionists or sympathizing with the religionists. This is a thought about the fact that the religionists and the one who thinks they're in conflict with the religionists are both one. They are of the same mind. They are of the same intuition. And that intuition is to resist the presence of God, is to deny the power of God, is to rely on the self, is to put importance on what the self is doing. That is where the religionists and the atheists have in common. Not the theist in the sense of one who puts their faith in God. That is the third party, or in essence, really the only other party. Those two, the religionists and the atheists, are of the same mind. Trust in self, belief in self, what they see, what they do, those are the things they have faith in. They just call it by different labels. But the one who really puts their faith in God is someone different. Is someone totally different than those two groups. And yes, you can label it an appeal to intuition or whatever you want, but we all know it's there. We all know there's something there, and it's real. And we're all either embracing it and finding out and saying, who are you? I want to talk to you. I want to know who you are. I want to understand. Or we're just saying, no, I know what I know because I can see what I can see, and I can hear what I can hear and understand and read, or whatever it is I put my faith in, and make it all about that, what I can have explained to me, more or less, on a chalkboard in an intellectual exercise, even though we know our spirit, there's something nagging us in our spirit that is informing us, that is telling us, no, there's something else here. There's something else here. But because there's such a cacophony, there's just a total chorus of people willing to say, whether they're the religionists, the theistic religionists, or the atheistic religionists, there's just tons of people that are willing to sing your song and to confirm that what you see and what you hear and what you need confirmed to your eyes is true. So it's easy to go along with that. But to truly trust in the unseen that we all know is something neither group wants to do, whether they claim God or not. One point where the atheist misses the theist is their demand for so-called proof, so that they completely miss the nature of the supernatural. They say, I must have the supernatural proved to me by natural means, which makes no sense. The claim of the theist is that we have had contact with the supernatural because that is what we have sought, that's what we desire, so we seek it or him, or whatever you want to call it, and therefore he reveals himself to us. They have no desire to find the supernatural because they deny its existence, because it is not made plain without even asking for it to be revealed. So that is what they'll get, whatever that is, at the end of this natural life. I don't claim to know what hell is, or what the end of this life is, but it's not with the Creator. The Creator welcomes us, but he does reveal himself to us
supernaturally. So if by definition you don't want to know anything about the supernatural and claim outright from the very beginning that there can be no such thing because he hasn't sought you out or had a tea with you or stuck his face out of the clouds, then you're not going to seek him. If you don't seek him, you don't find him. You find what you seek.